on this very, very rainy day. I'm going to be real quick in what I say. You all have been read a little memo about what's to come. I want you to give you your full attention to Mr. Jason Guitry over here. Little side note, I know none of you will go on your electronic devices because you know not to do that. But please be respectful, show them how awesome you guys are and that we are a proud Hale community. All right, let's go.
Is the mic on? I don't know. What do we mean?
Hello?
Want to try
Big butt.
wireless mic?
Yeah, it's the big butt.
Oh, the button. Thank you all for having me. This is my entire family right here in the first row. I wanted to start off with this message, and it reads, never be bullied in silence, never allow yourself to be made a victim, accept no one's definition of your life, but define yourself. And what that means is, this presentation is not just going to be about the definition of bullying and you know what that entails. Obviously everybody knows what it is, but through 10 years, this will be 11th year since my brother passed away, I've learned a lot about psychology, life, you know, the meaning of life, you know, the circle of life. So it's going to be, hopefully I can portray a message to you that's the bigger picture. I know it's tough to see as ninth graders, but that's kind of the message that I want to portray to all of you. And this is a big thing. The minute I stopped caring about what other people thought, started doing what I wanted to do, is the minute I really felt free. What in ninth grade, I reflect going back to ninth grade, that's all you think about, is what everybody else thinks of you. But eventually, you know,
Mr. Belfort, please, or another counselor, and one more guest here.
Eventually, you move on past high school, you grow up, you get married, you have kids, and what other people think, it just doesn't matter. It's really truly about what you think about yourself and how to build a strong internal person. So, here's kind of what I'm going to go over. Here are my goals. I'll give you a little history about myself, my family, what happened, perceptions, actions, circle of life, and mental health. I have a lot of these little tidbits. What this says is, take away truth. When nobody else celebrates you, learn how to celebrate yourself. When nobody else compliments you, compliment yourself. It's not up to other people to keep you encouraged, it's up to you. Encouragement should come from the inside. It's all about building a strong internal self. Because at the end of the day, you don't have control over a lot of things, but you do have control over yourself, your own brain, how you think of yourself. And it's very important into this message of bullying and suicide and all that. So, I guess we could get going. This is my brother. He was, so he passed away in 2002. I know the situation that happened over spring break, so I'll keep it kind of soft. Pretty much the same situation from what I hear from Mr. Lester that happened to my brother. Me and my mom and other brother found him. And no. Good family, strong family, very mature for his age. Really nothing that is black and white of why this might have happened besides, you know, bullying. There were some kids that were picking on him. His close-knit group of friends kind of bailed on him that year, and I don't know. that I'll see him one day and we'll talk about it. But that's his story, and I'll kind of keep it, soft due to the experience that just happened here. I'm sorry to hear about that. So we can move on from there. So this is a massive thing that is part of bullying, part of what I learned, and part of just life is perceptions. Elder Einstein said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Everybody has something that's so unique about themselves, and perception, judging, assumptions, those should be eliminated. I mean, every single person has something very unique about them in a positive light. And I'm going to play a video for you. And when I'm done, I'll kind of explain this. The video really isn't anything to do with bullying, but I'll explain what it means and how it pertains to bullying when it's done.
Now, what may be the most remarkable coming out event we've ever seen? A little girl is unable to speak a word or connect to the world around her in any way, or so everyone thought, until she turned 11 and suddenly something remarkable happened. ABC's John McKenzie has the story of a girl breaking out of her own body.
You don't know what it feels like to be me. When you can't sit still because your legs feel like they're on fire, or it feels like 100 ants are crawling up your arms.
How is it that these powerful words came out of this flailing mind?
People look at me and assume I am dumb, because I can't talk.
Something extraordinary happened to this 14-year-old who was written off as mentally deficient, something that may help unlock the mysteries of a baffling disorder.
What do I want? I want to be like every other kid. But I can't, because I am Carly.
Born in Toronto, Canada, Carly Fleischman was 2 years old when it became clear she was not keeping up with her twin sister Tara.
When you're told your child is going to be developmentally delayed, that they might achieve the developmental level of a 6-year-old, it's like being kicked in the gut.
When Arthur Fleischman and his wife Tammy learned the diagnosis was autism, they expected the worst, that the twins were headed in different directions.
And how bad did it get for Carly, those first few years?
Awful. Part of her delays prevented her from walking, from sitting up.
It was clear that Carly, like most autistic children, was lost in her own world, perpetually swimming underwater.
And all the doctors would say, you're the parent. You should do as much as you feel you need to do for this kid.
The Fleischmans were on their own. Experts told them that early intervention was critical. So ever since Carly was 3, her therapy has been intensive, unrelenting.
This took about 40 to 60 hours a week of one-to-one therapy. She always had about 3 to 4 therapists working with her. And if you're not getting results with one approach, you move on, you try something else.
You didn't give up. You pushed Carly.
When you look in Carly's eyes, you can see an innate intelligence, so we never gave up. We never gave up.
But if there was intelligence, Carly's ceaseless walking, flailing arms, and tantrums hid any traces. Worse, she couldn't speak, not a word.
I did not have any expectation that she would have a fluid form of communication.
Dr. Nicole Walton Allen is a clinical psychologist who led Carly's therapy program.
Her profile was that of a child who was severely autistic and more than likely moderately mentally retarded.
And did you ever think about institutionalizing her?
We had friends saying, you're plugging away, spending thousands of dollars on therapy, you're not really seeing the progress. So, of course, you start thinking about, should she be in a group home?
But you decided against it.
Could never do it. Could never do it. How can you give up your kid?
Despite thousands of hours of therapy over months and years, Carly's progress was excruciatingly slow. That is until one day 3 years ago when Carly was 11. She ran to a computer for the first time, and what happened next was a breakthrough so profound it would finally pierce Carly's silent, secret world.
and she was quite distressed, and she starts to spell H-U-R-T, hurt. And then a little bit later on, she spells H-E-L, and we kind of pushed her to finish, and she puts P, so she spells hell. Afterwards, she sort of got up, went behind the couch, and she threw up.
Barbara Fenton Nash is one of Carly's longtime therapists. So what did this tell you?
It told us that there was a lot more going on there than we knew, and to us that was a breakthrough moment because we hadn't specifically taught her the words.
And at first we didn't believe it. Knowing this child for 10 years and never seeing her write a thing, of course you're going to be skeptical.
Everyone was, including her other therapists, who were now desperate to see proof. But Carly refused to type, exhibiting the same hysterical behavior that led experts to label her as mentally retarded.
She would strip off her clothes. She would go into the bathroom and she would engage in fecal smearing. So the typing was great, but no one could see it.
What was needed was some tough love. If Carly wanted something, she would have to type for it.
First type, and then you get. Let's go.
Oh, she had to work for it. If she wanted information, if she wanted to go somewhere, she had to type by herself.
Finally, several months later, Carly began to type for others.
She started to realize that by communicating, she had power over her environment.
And what came through her fingers, typing one letter at a time, with fluency no one could believe, was astonishing.
I am autistic, but that's not who I am. Take time to know me before you judge me. I am cute, funny, and like to have fun.
Through her torrent of words, Carly began to unravel the mysteries behind her often wild behavior. Like banging her head.
Because if I don't, it feels like my body is going to explode. It's just like when you shake a can of Coke. If I could stop it, I would, but it's not like turning a switch off. I know what is right and wrong, but it's like I have to fight with my brain over it.
Use your words.
And Carly was not shy about expressing her desires and frustrations.
I want to be able to go to school with normal kids, but not have them getting upset or scared if I hit a table or screaming. I want something that will put out a fire.
We were also horrified because for years we had spoken in front of her as if she wasn't there.
Now, for the first time, Carly was able to have conversations with her parents.
Can I talk to Dad?
I want to go on a snowmobile. Can we do it? Will you go on one? I think it'll be fun.
So here's your daughter, and finally you get to meet her. What was that like?
Overwhelming. Overwhelming. I stopped looking at her as a disabled person. You promised to lie to me. And started looking at her as a sort of sassy, mischievous teenage girl.
Wait. I want people to know that no one is telling me what to say, and I don't have a hand up my butt like a puppet.
Carly has been very clear that she sees herself as a normal child, locked in a body that does things that she has no control over.
Side by side with her twin sister Tara, it would be easy to dismiss Carly as intellectually challenged. That is, until you ask her a question.
Carly, why do autistic kids cover their ears, flap their hands, hum, and rock?
It's a way for us to drown out all sensory input that overloads us all at once. We create output to block out input.
Carly's brain, unlike most people's, is overwhelmed by the senses of sight and sound, taste and smell.
Our brains are wired differently. We take in many sounds and conversations at once. I take over 1,000 pictures of a person's face when I look at them. That's why we have a hard time looking at people.
The one thing she can control is when and where she'll type.
Well, this is John.
And usually she needs to be motivated.
Finish up. You're doing great.
When I tried making conversation with Carly, she would not type back.
I'll tell you anything you want.
Her finger hovering over the keys for hours, until I brought up my teenage son.
He wants to play football.
Now she's smiling. It's going to be something fun.
Are you embarrassed?
Come on, I want to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
You know, 2 years that we've been communicating, and every time she writes something, there's a little bit of that sense of awe. The room resembles a ship's cabin. It's
Dear Dad, I love when you read to me, and I love that you believe in me. I know I'm not the easiest kid in the
week, yes?
However, you are always there for me, holding my hand and picking me up. I love you.
I'll go through many sleepless nights to get her out. I'll spend every penny we have to get her out.
Was there one writing in particular that left a lump in your throat?
In this writing where she says, "You've never been in my body. I wish for one day you could be in my body."
A year after we first met Carly, she is happier, calmer, more independent.
Let's get this in the hand.
She's even writing a novel.
I think that humankind is just oblivious to things that have been around for many years.
She also has her own internet blog and Twitters regularly, answering questions from people all over North America.
I think Carly knows that she now has a voice that can help other kids. Now she looks at herself as someone who can make a mark on the world. And that's gotta be life-changing.
What do you hope for Carly now?
I want her to be happy. I want her to have dreams and goals and accomplish those goals in spite of her challenges.
I think the only thing I can say is don't give up. Your inner voice will find its way out. Mine did.
Hello? Yep. So the message of that video, there's a couple of them, but let's be honest, if Carly went to school here, you know, how many people would give her a hard time without getting to know her first? And it goes back to the message that's up there, is everybody truly has something special about them. Sometimes you gotta look outside of your normal little box to find it. In this case, you know, technology plays into bullying in a negative way, but we can truly use it for a good thing like she did. I mean, think about it. You're an autistic child and you can't communicate. Now you have a mechanism to communicate. And now she has her own blog, Twitter account. She's talking to people all over the world. Think of what that means to her. And I don't know, that video just hit home. Is what you wear, what your interests are, whatever it is. People need to start not judging people by how they look, how they talk, whatever the case is if people just sat down and got to know people and truly had a passion about other people's interests, I think this issue of bullying would diminish. You focus on yourself and learning about yourself and understanding that's really the only thing you have control over. It would be a lot better, peaceful place. Perceptions. So, my brother, by the way, I grew up in New Berlin, 5 minutes from here. We went to New Berlin Eisenhower with Amber and Ryan Koch. Well, he didn't go to Eisenhower, but I played sports with him my entire life. And so, I kind of put it in 3 big groups. Again, I know there's a ton more groups in high school, but these are kind of the 3 big ones that I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Athletics, arts, and intellect. So you can kind of fit into one of those groups, and usually you try to do that. I don't know why I did. I didn't really do anything in art, and to be honest, I didn't really care about school at the time. Don't shoot me, teachers. My life was sports from when I was 4 up until through college. But my brother, Jared, was in all 3 of those. And I think some way, somehow, I mean, that's intimidating for some reason. So he played football, he played the cello, he was into painting and drawing, and he was involved in school activities. He was probably smarter than me right now when he was 16. But I mean, I even read something about, what was the guy from the Wolf movie? Twilight. Not what are the two guys?
Edward and
Jacob. So I read something about Jacob, and I did a Google search on bullying, and his face pops up there in this quote about him getting bullied. So you have the actor who all the women love, and blah blah blah, and he had the same issue because he was into sports. He was obviously in arts and theater, etc. And I don't know if he's smart, but he had the same type of issue because when you grow up in high school, at least when I was growing up, you had to be sucked into one of these three pillars. Why? If I could go back and do it all over again, I would play the guitar. Talk about a chick magnet, play the guitar. And I probably would have paid attention more in school. I mean, definitely didn't do that. So I put 3 logos up here because they mean a lot to me. You know, it's played by The Voice. So American Idol, The Voice, I think there was a couple of years ago, I read a ton about schools eliminating music programs. And I just thought that was ridiculous. But The Voice and American Idol and all these other shows have helped kind of bring that back to light. And I think The Voice is a great show because they don't judge. I mean, if any of you watch the show, which I'm sure some of you do, it's truly judged on your voice. Where American Idol, I don't know if it is this way, but at first they would kick off great voices because of how they looked. So I think the world is getting it a little bit more of, you know, the exterior, quit judging and assuming things just by how people look or maybe how they come across to begin with. Google. So I work and live down in Chicago now, and growing up in New Berlin my entire life, you know, it's kind of what you perceive as reality. There's this whole different world outside of this little area, and Google is amazing because if you ever go down to Chicago, they have one of their headquarters down there, and it's amazing. I mean, they have video games, they do your laundry, it's this whole world, and people dress like this. Like the world of executives wearing suits, etc., doesn't exist anymore, and I think it's a great thing because if I was standing up here and I have to wear a suit every day, I'm an IT consultant now, would you take me more seriously? I mean, ask yourself that. I think that's kind of ridiculous that essentially I have to wear a mask every day to be taken more seriously than somebody in a t-shirt. And if you go down to Google, there's a new movie coming out called The Intern with Wedding Crasher guys. I can't think of names for some reason today. And you look inside that company and it's 21, 22-year-old guys looking like this that are geniuses. So even 10 years ago, when I was it 10 years ago? No. More than that. I'm 32, so I don't know. But even in 1999, when I graduated high school, you know, computers and things like that were kind of there, but not really. I think MySpace was still cool when I was in high school. But there's this blended persona of, I mean, quote-unquote nerdy, it doesn't exist anymore because of companies like Google. Facebook, they got built a company because he couldn't get dates. So, you know, people are wearing bow ties, suspenders. So there's this circle of life that whatever you're doing right now, just keep doing it. If that's your passion, do it. Because eventually, within 10 years, it's going to come back around. And what you're doing now that maybe you change who you are because you think it's not cool, will be cool. And you'll become yourself. And trust me, I went from being a jock to now being a nerd. I mean, I'm an IT consultant, all I do is technology all day, every day. And it's my passion besides my family. So there is this grander big picture besides what's going on right here, right now in this school in 9th grade. Oh, I didn't even talk about the other things. So the perceptions, and then there's 4 pieces of bullying here. It's just kind of the boring definitions. Obviously, verbal, social, physical, and cyber. I don't know which one would be more hurtful to somebody, but I think that they're all equal. But even 10 years ago, I mean, you can ruin somebody in 1 second in today's day and age with technology, with Facebook, Twitter, things like that. How easy it is to take a video, put it on the web. So this utilized technology for the good. It's an amazing thing. Look what it did for Carly. And then the 4 pieces of bullying, if you kind of break it apart, is the bully, the victim, bystanders, and adults. And I'll get into all those in a little bit. But right now, when my brother passed away, my parents helped the Wisconsin State Congress pass the bully bill. And I'm going to let my mom explain, what she did and what it means.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Peggy Hitry, Jared's mom, Jason's mom, Kristen and Matt's mom. When Jared passed away in August, he is 16. And you never get over something like that. Because he's still a part of our family. And so we all looked for ways, individually and collectively, and ways to make his life mean something past that point. Because there are no more memories of Jared. We don't get any more new memories, things like that. So we as a family, we have a scholarship in his name, and I work for a school, the New Berlin School District. We've done a program there, and so we've done other things. But the senator from Wisconsin had contacted me, and he had asked for help on this bill. He just needed support on that, and so I thought, there's no way I can talk, in front of, the Assembly of Wisconsin. So I went there, though, in support of it. I thought I could at least sign my name in support of it. And I went, and there I just got the strength to be able to talk in support of it. And so it took 2 years to get this bill passed. I'm not sure if you have seen things on Channel 6. I know that there was, reports about school bullying and things like that. So it was very important to us. And what this bill does is it is now saying that in the state of Wisconsin, bullying will not be allowed in school. It's prohibited in school. When this happened to Jared, I went to our school district, and at that time, there was no avenue. There wasn't a plan in place, really. I spoke with the counselor, and I'm not criticizing the district or anything. It's just, at that time, I wasn't sure if it was really getting addressed and what I could do. At least now, through this bill, all school districts should have a plan. And if you don't know the plan of your school, you can ask. You should be able to get